Alright, base of the solid is a region in the first quadrant, so thankfully we're in the first quadrant. Enclosed by the graph, y equals 2 minus x squared. Alright, so I gotta figure out where that's gonna be. At 0, what would this be? At 0 it would be 2. So I know it's gonna be there. Now, when is 0 is equal to 2 minus x squared? So 2 is negative 2 is equal to negative x squared. So x is equal to positive negative square root of 2. So it's going to go to the square root of 2. So it's going to do this, right? She did say the answer was 4. So is everybody okay with how I figured out these values? When x was 0, I plugged it into the equation y equals 2 minus 0 squared, and I got a 2. Here, I let y equal 0. Y is equal to 0 here, and I got square root of 2. So I figured out this is my region. This is y is equal to 2 minus x squared. So it's bounded by this graph, which is like this, and the axes, the x and y axes. So there's my x and y axes. Now it says every cross section of the solid is perpendicular to the y-axis. But it's a square, so thank goodness it's a square. So we're perpendicular to the y-axis. So there's my rectangle right there. I'm not going to rotate this time. But now, since it's a square, or a square, area is side squared. So if I need to figure out what my side is equal to, I like to put the capital R just to make sure that we always remember that capital R is the length of the rectangle. But my side is going to be, when I'm dealing with a horizontal rectangle, it's going to be right minus left. So what's this point right here? 2 minus x squared. What's this point right here? 0. So what's the length of the side? 2 minus x squared. So s squared is going to be 2 minus x squared quantity squared. I don't want to integrate that because I don't have a way of doing that because there's no x, so we can't do any chain rule and use substitution. So I'm going to expand it out. I'm going to use just the perfect square binomial. That's a difference. So I need 4 minus 4x squared plus x to the 4th. So I just square this, then it's 2 times this, and then I square this. Now, since but wait a second. There's an issue. What's the issue? Yes, it should be in terms of y. Because because it's horizontal, and I'm gonna go from 0 to 2. These are y values, so there are no y values there. So all that work for nothing. But not a big deal. We know y is equal to 2 minus x squared, correct? So subtract the 2, you get y minus 2 is equal to negative x squared. So what I'm going to do is multiply by a negative 1. So I'll get 2 minus y is equal to x squared. And so now take the square root of both sides. X is equal to a positive negative square root of 2 minus y. Does that make sense? Alright, so now I could get rid of that and say it's really 2 minus y. Now, what's my side? 2 minus y. Actually, it's the square root of it. Now, why did I use the positive square root of 2 minus y instead of a negative square root of 2 minus y? First quadrant. And that's one of the nice things about the first quadrant is everything's positive, so I don't have to worry about the negative sign. Would it really have mattered if it was a negative sign there? You'll know where you're dealing with. And most of it is first quadrant or first and fourth. Side squared is just 2 minus y, because you square root, you get rid of that. Now, I could go from 0 to 2. Two minus y. Sorry, brain locked up there. Alright, integrate 2. 2y. Is that all you had to do? Oh, so which one is it? B. There you go. But if you had to, you could actually calculate the answer there. So that was as far as you had to go on that one. Tomorrow you have to go a little bit farther to get the answer. So I'll just go a little bit farther to get the answer. The answer on the paper is B. Because it's a square, and we're integrating the area of a square, so it's going to be side squared. That's why they put... No, they don't even have that one on there. So... Say what? Oh, I just... I needed to know what the graph was going to do in the x-axis, and I knew my bounds were going to be the y-axis and the x-axis, so I needed to know in quadrant 1 what I needed to do. So I plugged in 0. So I wanted to see where the graph was going to hit the y-axis. Plugged in 0, and I got 2. And so that got me this point right here. That point was 0, 2. And that just happened to be my upper y bound in that case. Right. This? That's this because we changed y equals 2 minus x squared into x equals the square root of 2 minus y. So this is actually a square root graph for y. Just because we solve for y, or we solve for x when we had y. Now if you plug this in, you get 4 minus 4 over 2, which is 4 minus 2, which is 2. So your area would have been 2. Which is what you have to do for the overall thing. For this question, you just had to figure out what was the integral. The integral was b. Does that make sense? Remember, if you have to go, if you start having these rotating with the vertical lines or all that, you have to change it into terms of y's instead of x's.